Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This should never have happened. To our Jewish community, I'm so sorry, ashamed and appalled that it did. Likewise, to all Australians, including the wonderful people of Willoughby, this is not the Australia that I grew up in, know and love. What we saw at Bondi was radical Islamic terrorism, it was extremism, it was anti-Semitism, it was hate, it was pure evil. And it was what the Jewish community had warned about, begged for action upon, for over 2 years. So let's be clear about this. We are here because the nation failed, leaders, state and federal failed, agencies failed, systems failed, staff failed, and more failed. Appeasement and apologists achieve nothing. That approach is frankly part of the failure here. This terrorist act came with many warnings, as I've previously spoken of, at the Opera House, on the Sydney Harbour Bridge and out the front of this very Parliament House. Today, sadly, none of what we say and do can bring back those innocent, beautiful 15 souls. But our response must surely reflect the gravity of what has happened, its truth, its meaning, its history, and how we best address the evil and its effects. The most important response needed is moral clarity. Leadership that's crystal clear, born out of conviction and with the courage to address the evil and its effects. At Shabbat North Shore on Wednesday, within seconds of the completion of a beautiful vigil and the lighting of the menorah, with barely a dry eye in the house, I was asked by a Sydney Morning Herald journalist what I thought about Chris Minns' proposal for gun law reform. My response, I said, well, let's see what's on the table for gun law reform. I pause here to note that I first saw the proposal for gun law reform this morning, on this day of sittings, 3 days from Christmas, the day on which we must apparently vote upon it. More notably, I made it clear that the response to this journalist must be about much, much more than gun laws. I said it's about leadership, culture, rampant anti-Semitism, immigration and public safety. As I've said to many rabbis and Jewish community leaders this week, the turning point, the descent into darkness was, I believe, all too apparent right after the horrors of October 7, 2023. What happened at the Sydney Opera House on October 9 particularly, in effect, set the tone and the standard horribly and terribly for what would follow. That it was not just allowed on that night, October 9, after what had happened in Israel, on what was to have been a night of mourning for the Jewish community, with the sails lit up for them. But then it proceeded, wildly out of control, rampant wrongdoing in Sydney, and nothing was done about it. Then it was reviewed officially, and somehow still little or no real action arose from it. Oh, they didn't chant "Gas the Jews," the official investigation concluded. But the chants, the threats, the hate, the burning, the evil was plain for all to see. At that point in time, I think I'd hardly seen a more disgusting display in my home city. And then there were predictably so many incidents that followed. In the year that followed, there were 2,062 anti-Jewish incidents recorded by the Jewish community. Shameful. The following year, until the 1st of October this year, there were 1,654. Every one of them represents a failure. Every one of them represents anti-Semitism and hatred. Every one of them represents hurt. Every one of them harms our nation. The state's response must be so much more, better and more thoughtful and thorough than what is in front of us right here. Good lawmaking is not rushed knee-jerk reaction. Good lawmaking is not a quick fix in the optics of acting. Good lawmaking is not the subject of zero consultation with affected people and organisations. Good lawmaking is not diverting from the main issues at stake and getting it done in 2 days. This today feels as though this Parliament is applying a quick band-aid over an open, gaping wound that warrants so much more. I understand the desire of community for Parliament to act, to come together, to put politics aside, to show bipartisanship. We can do that. At the same time, let's be open, truthful and accountable. And we can and must do so much more and better. We can and should have a Royal Commission, a national one. If we can have a Royal Commission into robo-debt, pink bats and banks, then surely we can have a full Royal Commission into Australia's worst terrorist attack. I note the Premier, who in joining the call for a Royal Commission said, Until we've got a full and accurate picture of exactly how this happened, with a plan to ensure that it doesn't happen again, then I don't have answers for the people of New South Wales about what happened on Sunday. Reconciling that sensible statement with this rushed and flawed bill is frankly impossible. How can he say on one hand, let's take the time and resources of a Royal Commission and work through it and get it right, but on the other hand, let's rush hasty reforms through the Parliament in 48 hours on the eve of Christmas? I want to applaud and echo the statements of Josh Frydenberg. His raw, real and personal appeal for action spoke volumes this week for so many people. He and his family, indeed no family, should have to live their lives as they do, with constant security, high fences, police presence, countless precautions and curtailed freedoms. I want all Australians to be free to live their lives, practice their faith, abide by our laws, raise their families and build our community with dignity, safety, respect and equality. Now, a number of reforms in this bill are welcome, and yes, there's some common ground. Many of these reforms should have already been law, and would have been law under earlier coalition efforts to strengthen our state. On symbols, on face coverings, on protests, the coalition many months ago moved to bring real reform. We saw the need and the risk and properly brought to this place responsible reforms. To those opposite, I say to you now, where were you? Why did you vote against them? And why only now can you bring yourselves to do so? On gun laws, we have a model for reform. John Howard showed the nation how to get it done. Work across parties, work with stakeholders, be among the communities concerned, turn up and seek to earn their respect on the reforms, explain your position, ensure its quality, not just urgency. In New South Wales, many reforms relating to firearms can be dealt with administratively. As has been pointed out, the Firearms Act has a robust public safety framework grounded in suitability, lawful purpose and safe storage. Licences can be quickly and readily refused, suspended and revoked by the Police Commissioner. There are serious questions about why existing laws and processes were not exercised in this instance, and we must know the truth. I don't doubt some tightening can and should be made, but to do it in this way, in this time frame, without even working for one moment with law-abiding farmers and sporting shooters is not going to get us to where we need to be. That this bill is a cognate bill means it's basically take it or leave it in full. It seems clear, and I'm told that the numbers will not be here for a better approach, namely to work to get the reforms right, to scrutinise this further, to develop a real reform plan, to have the benefit of a Royal Commission's findings and more. On balance, and regretting that such a serious matter is the subject of such rush and compromise under this government, I will back this bill, but with a view to making real reforms, better reforms in time that do much better for our state and community. This state can and must do so much better than this. To the preachers, peddlers and practices of hate in Australia, I say this: live by the values of our country, and if you can't, then leave. Go and take your hate elsewhere. To the Jewish community, I once again say I'm sorry, I grieve with you, I share your pain and anger, and I'm with you. And I say this: the light will prevail over the darkness. Your spirit and resolve amidst this terror is an inspiration, and we will not let you down. To all Australians, I say this: it's a seminal moment in our nation's history. Australia must lead and be led with moral clarity, with conviction and with courage to do what is right, true and just. We must live accordingly, stand up and act for good, for light, for truth and for justice, for our very future depends on it. I thank the House.